Salutations from San Diego, California. Today I'm going to share a levitating photo that I took on a recent shoot that I did. If you know me at all, or maybe you don't even have to know me to know. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen things in the past. I love levitating photos. I love to jump for photos. I love to make people jump for photos. I just love the idea of kind of floating in air. Sometimes it's a stepping off of a wall or a bed or a table, I don't know, just anything to kind of catch you in midair. That's what this picture is today that I'm going to share with you and kind of do some Lightroom edits with. If you follow me on Instagram or on our Patreon, you may have seen this photo, but today I'm going to dig a little deeper in it and share that with you. Our Patreon is patreon.com/mattandblue. The link is in the description of this video. I am on Instagram at Blue Hamilton. And before we jump any further into the photo that we're working on today, I wanted to share with you. This is a photo I took of my friend Marcelino, and I really love this photo. I'm actually selling this photo on our website, 25north.com. That is our store, 25north.com. It's beautifully framed and matted. So if you're into cowboys, if you're into handsome man, if you need some art, this might be a piece for you. Check it out, 25north.com. That's all I'll say about that. I love a lot of things about this photo as is. Now, it is a little censored because, well, let's face it, this is YouTube, and I can't be showing everybody's junk up on YouTube. I took these photos with my Sony AR7 II DLSR, and I believe the lens I had on it was 24 to 70 millimeters, so it's quite dynamic. Those are the tools I was using. I did have one light in the room that was lighting him. That's kind of the setup, and we just kind of float around the room, and I love the spontaneity of it. Another thing I love about this photo is that you don't necessarily know that he's jumping. You have to study the photo to see that his feet are not on the bed. The colors I think are great. I do want to kind of change some of those colors, make them pop, maybe make them blend in a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go right into it here. So first off, the first option we have here in the light is exposure. Now, it is bright enough to see, but maybe a little more brightness might help it pop just a little bit more. So I'm gonna kick that up to 20. And a lot of times in Lightroom, I will turn things up and then I'll go back and turn them down. It's kind of like I do one thing and something else should be tweaked. And the contrast, I think I want it to pop a little bit more, so I'll go about, I don't know, about a 5 on the contrast. Highlights, let's kick that up a bit. Let's turn that up to about 14. And now you're starting to see him a little bit more. I don't want him to get too washed out, so maybe if we just take up the shadows, that'll help brighten him up without brightening the spots that are already bright. And those shadows are just going to pull out anything that's a shadow, and not necessarily anything that's already has light hitting it. Let's see, whites, what do I want to do? I want to turn these up or down, because I don't, let's just turn everything up. More is good, right, to start with. You can always turn it down. Let's hit about a 10 there. And blacks, let's turn those down to about a 9, 10. Let's do a 10. All right, so there we are on the lights, and you can see the before and after. Same photo, just a little brighter, little more. I think we should kick these curves up just a bit. Now this is something I really sometimes spend a lot of time playing with, and okay, I like that. Subtle. Sometimes you can't even see it, but as you begin to stack more on there, you do. Now this picture has a lot of warmth in it, and sometimes warmth to my eye becomes orange and not a very appealing way. So I like this little color curve that you can use here, which balances between cool and warm. We're just going to Do this enough to where kind of some of those warm tones become a little cooler, making this photo less of an orange or yellowy tint. More of a cooler vibe, which I like. It feels cleaner. Not that clean is important because we're in a motel room here, right? So we all know what those motel rooms, and trust me, this motel room, if I wasn't there for the purpose of just shooting some photos, I would have checked out faster than I opened the door. It was pretty nasty. All right, down further, we get into more colors here. You can go some warmth. We just turned down the warmth, but we can also crank it up a little bit here. Doesn't feel quite right to me to go too extreme, maybe a little. Okay. And every once in a while too, I like to kind of zoom in and make sure none of the colors are bleeding off. A lot of times with raw, uncompressed photos, I notice that the colors a lot of times bleed as I tweak them more. All right, so what am I getting into? Tint. I don't want to mess with tint. Vibrance. I mean, we can make that vibrance pop a little bit. I don't know. What if we said about like a 25? And tint. Yeah, so you go messing with tint and things get real kind of wacky. I'm just gonna leave the tint where it is. Let's see. I'm not gonna mess with any of the mixers right now. The point color I'm gonna kind of leave alone for the time being. Texture. Now, these effects I really find can really transform a photo. And I feel like a lot of times on Instagram I see photos and I can tell that they just went hard on the clarity or something, because watch, if I turn up the clarity, everything becomes I guess more clarity. I don't know, it's just, it doesn't look natural. Sometimes it looks cool depending on what you're shooting. I don't know if it's quite right to go extreme on this type of photo. We'll kick that up a little bit, and then a little texture won't be bad. Let's go about 25. All right, so let's see the before and where we're at now. I'm liking it. I like this direction. Dehaze, I don't know if we really need that much. Vignette, I'm a big vignette guy, especially in a photo like this. It really helps highlight him, and it adds a lot of, I don't know what the word is, like, it's just a little darker, it's a little moodier. And every time I take a photo, I have a shoot, I'm always going for moody. I'm always trying, like, I don't want to just take portraits of somebody. I want to take something that's interesting to look at. So that's always my goal, and I feel like thus far, I'm liking this. Let's see, what else do I have? Midpoint, roundness, feather. I mean, that's all kind of vignette type stuff. Grain. Grain is a good one. Now, this is a raw photo, so it's already pretty grainy. It's noisy. There's a lot of noise on it. Which, if we jump down here to luminance, we can turn this up a bit, and you'll see that this guy kind of pops. Let's go about 15 and see where we're at. So it's just not a lot happened there. We'll come up here a little bit on the color as well. Okay, so again, that's the before, that's the after. Now with the grain, sometimes it helps smooth. Let's go about 15 here. Smooth it out a bit. Let's see, before, after. And I love that. The other thing that I always try to consider, and a lot of times I do this before I start editing, is I try to find what is the main focus. In a picture like this, it's pretty obvious what the main focus is. Sometimes if I have a picture and I just think it's a great picture, and there's a lot going on, I kind of have to, because it's such a large file, I can crop it down a lot. This one I could crop down and really show just him, but the whole idea of this photo is him levitating, so the space above his head I like. It makes the ceiling seem pretty tall, which it was not. It was a very low ceiling, almost to the point where he hit his head when he jumped, so it was more of like a drop. But if you go cropping it, then you're not getting the full effect of the bed and the angle of the bed and the depth and the dimension and the colors I'm kind of like. So I'm not even gonna crop it. And I like the mess in the background. It's kind of a editorial type vibe in my opinion, and I like it. So I'm gonna leave it. What else could I do about this photo or to this photo? I could, if I wanted to mess with some of the colors, I could go into the picker. The color, I call it a picker. It's point color, I guess. And I can pick some of these colors. Let's pick some of those, and I can just kind of turn them down a bit. Now, see, that kind of affects him too. So you do kind of get into some let's try a new color. Let's go here. And let's just kind of darken it up a bit. Maybe that's a little too much. You can go saturation. See, he has a lot of reds in his skin. So, you know, I don't even think I'm gonna mess with it. I might, you know what? That's not true. I'm gonna mess with it. I'm going to just darken it just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. It will also give him a little more dimension. Now, another thing we can do, you come over here on the side and you have some brushes, some other tools, and we can kick some shadows in. And now this action that I'm taking really puts my computer to the test. Any day I'm gonna be doing this and my computer is gonna say, nope, I'm done, and it's just gonna take a big old massive shit on me. So what I'm gonna do here is just kind of highlight some of the, not highlight, I'm going to darken some of the shadow areas. And what I'm focusing on here is muscle tone. Now I can always lighten what I'm doing, and if you notice here I kind of got the background, so I'm just going to go and delete this. I will end up turning down, sorry. My mind is doing two different things at once. And all these areas that, oh wait a minute, I'm erasing. All these areas that you see here is muscles. That is not what I did. Sometimes when the computer freezes, it just ends up being a real, let's turn the feather up. Give that a minute to just kind of accentuates some muscle tone. Just subtle, but I'm a sucker for good leg muscles, and this dude has them, so we're just going to, nothing real crazy. You're gonna do some stomach muscles here. You hear the computer's doing its job. Protesting every single second, but alright, now the only other thing that I noticed that I could try to correct is, and this is, I really have this problem if I have my picture taken. My face is always, I have a very olivey complexion, especially when I'm in the sun a lot. It's a Sicilian blood, and my skin looks orange. In fact, in the very beginning of this YouTube channel, years ago, we had a camera and it would make my face look orange, and everyone thought I was wearing makeup. I wasn't. It was just my orange skin. So I could come here and I'm gonna widen this up here. Maybe I'll go a little bit more. So we'll go right about there-ish. I'm gonna turn the feather down just a little bit, and I'm going to click it just once. And then I'm gonna come over here to shadows, and I'm going to increase the shadows, and then I'm gonna come over here to the what do I want to do here? What do I want to do? I'm gonna just turn down the saturation just a little bit. Oh, whoa, I said a little bit now. And I might have to come back through and hit it again somewhere else. But it just kind of takes some of that, makes it blend a little bit more. So this is our before, and we have our after. And that's where I'm gonna let it live. For now, for me, I am very happy with that photo. Love Adobe Lightroom. If you don't have it, it's super user-friendly. Even if you're just taking family photos, whatnot, it really helps you enhance your photos. So you can check that out, Adobe Lightroom. And if you want to know any of the equipment that I shoot on, it will be in the description of this video as well. Things to remember, like this video, share it, join our community if you're interested in more of these photos. All these shoots that I share here on YouTube, I share the actual photos of them on our Patreon, patreon.com/mattandblue. There is some sexiness involved. If you're in the San Diego area and you need some photos taken, you know where to find me, right here. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Blue Hamilton, and visit our store 25 North. There's a laundry list of things to do, but do them all, do none. I don't know, you watched the video this far, so I appreciate you nonetheless. Peace to the world!